The Trump administration announced it to the world with enormous fanfare. A brand new path to American residency, exclusive, powerful, and available to anyone willing to write a check for $5 million. They called it the Gold Card. It was supposed to replace the EB-5 investor visa, bring in billions of dollars for the United States Treasury, attract the wealthiest and most successful people on the planet, and according to President Trump himself, be so popular that applications would flood in almost immediately. The administration said the demand would be massive. They said the wealthy of the world were lining up. They said America was open for business at the highest level. And then the applications came in. And after all that noise, all that marketing, all that presidential promotion, only one person was approved. One single person. In a program designed to generate billions of dollars and reshape American immigration for the ultra-wealthy, exactly one human being made it through the door. So, what happened? Was this a failure, a scam, a political stunt? Or is something far more complicated going on beneath the surface? Stay right here, because the full truth behind Trump's Gold Card plan is far more revealing than anyone in Washington wants to admit. Welcome back to Global Entry News, the channel that goes beyond the headlines to bring you the real story behind the immigration policies, visa programs, and global mobility decisions that are reshaping the world right now. Whether you are an investor, an immigrant, a professional watching from abroad, or simply someone who wants to understand how power and money intersect with the movement of people across borders, this is your channel. If you are new here, welcome, and please hit that subscribe button right now and turn on your bell notification. Stories like this one develop fast, details change quickly, and the implications reach far beyond America's borders. You need to be the first to know. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on one of the most talked about and least understood immigration proposals of the Trump era, the $5 million Gold Card visa, what it promised, what it actually delivered, why only one person has been approved, and what the real agenda behind this program might actually be. Let's get into it. To understand the Gold Card and why its near-complete failure to launch is so significant, you first need to understand the context in which it was born and the existing program it was designed to replace. America has had an investor visa program for decades. It is called the EB-5 visa, and it has been one of the most controversial immigration pathways in the entire United States immigration system. The EB-5 was created by Congress in 1990 with a straightforward goal: attract foreign investment, create American jobs, and offer a path to a green card for wealthy investors who were willing to put real capital to work in the American economy. The minimum investment threshold was set at around $1 million for standard investments, or $800,000 for investments in targeted employment areas, rural or high unemployment zones, where job creation was considered especially valuable. For decades, the EB-5 functioned, imperfectly, controversially, but it functioned. Thousands of investors from China, South Korea, India, Vietnam, Taiwan, and elsewhere used it to obtain permanent residency in the United States. It brought in billions of dollars of foreign capital and funded real estate developments, infrastructure projects, and businesses across the country. But it also became a magnet for fraud, abuse, and manipulation. Regional centers, the intermediary investment vehicles through which most EB-5 money flowed, were riddled with mismanagement and outright criminal fraud. Investors lost hundreds of millions of dollars. Some projects were never built. Some green cards were never issued. Congress eventually overhauled the program in 2022 with the EB-5 Reform and Integrity Act, raising thresholds and tightening oversight. But the damage to the program's reputation was real, and the processing backlogs, particularly for Chinese nationals, where the wait time for a visa number stretched into decades, made the program functionally inaccessible for a huge portion of potential applicants. Enter Donald Trump and the Gold Card. When Trump announced the Gold Card concept in early 2025, the pitch was simple and characteristically bold. Pay $5 million, get permanent residency, no complicated job creation requirements, no regional centers, no bureaucratic middlemen taking cuts of your investment. Just a direct transaction, cash to the United States government in exchange for the right to live in America permanently. Trump framed it as cleaning up the mess of the EB-5, streamlining the process, and making America the most attractive destination in the world for ultra-high net worth individuals. On the surface, the concept had a certain logic. The global market for residency by investment and citizenship by investment programs is enormous. Countries like Portugal, Malta, the UAE, Singapore, and dozens of others compete aggressively for wealthy migrants by offering residency or citizenship in exchange for investment. The United States, with its unmatched economic opportunities, its world-class universities, its legal system, and its status as the global reserve currency country, should theoretically be able to command a premium in that market. If Malta can charge hundreds of thousands of euros for citizenship, why couldn't America charge $5 million for a green card? The administration projected extraordinary numbers. Officials suggested that even a small fraction of the world's ultra-wealthy choosing the Gold Card could bring in hundreds of billions of dollars for the United States. Trump himself spoke about the program with characteristic superlatives. The best program, the most popular, the biggest deal. Demand, they said, would be overwhelming. And then the reality arrived. Reports confirmed that after the program's launch, with all the presidential attention, all the media coverage, all the international buzz, the number of approved applicants stood at one person. And even that single approval came wrapped in questions about the exact process, the legal framework, the congressional authorization, and whether the administration had the statutory authority to create and administer this program in the way it was doing so. So what went wrong? Or more precisely, what was never quite right? The first and most fundamental problem is legal authority. The United States immigration system is governed by statute, by laws passed by Congress. The executive branch administers those laws, but cannot simply invent new visa categories or immigration pathways without congressional approval. Legal scholars almost immediately raised serious questions about whether the Trump administration had the authority to create the Gold Card visa through executive action alone. Congress created the EB-5. Congress reformed the EB-5. Any replacement for the EB-5, especially one as structurally different as the Gold Card, would arguably require new legislation. Without that congressional foundation, the program exists in a legal gray zone that creates enormous uncertainty for any potential applicant, and wealthy investors, above all else, are sensitive to legal uncertainty. Nobody is writing a $5 million check into a program that might be challenged in court and unwound before their residency is secured. The second problem is the price point itself. And this requires nuance because $5 million sounds like it should exclude almost everyone, but actually creates a very specific and very awkward market positioning problem. At $5 million, the Gold Card is dramatically more expensive than virtually every comparable residency by investment program in the world. Portugal's Golden Visa program starts at around 250,000 euros in certain investment categories. Malta's citizenship program requires around 650,000 euros. Singapore's Global Investor program requires around 2.5 million Singapore dollars. Even programs in economically powerful, stable, desirable countries come in far below $5 million. For the Gold Card to be worth $5 million, the American residency it offers needs to be seen as categorically more valuable than all of those alternatives. And right now, with the legal questions swirling, with the program's infrastructure unclear, and with the broader political environment around immigration in America being extraordinarily hostile, that premium is very hard to justify in the eyes of a sophisticated global investor. The third problem is the target audience itself. The ultra-wealthy individuals who could most easily write a $5 million check are also the individuals with the most sophisticated legal teams, the most experienced immigration attorneys, and the most options. They are not going to rush into an unproven, legally uncertain program simply because a president announced it at a press conference. They are going to wait. They are going to watch. They are going to let other people test the system first. And they are going to continue using the multiple other pathways, existing visas, treaty investor visas, extraordinary ability visas, and yes, even the reformed EB-5 that have established track records and legal certainty. The fourth problem, and this one is perhaps the most politically interesting, is what the Gold Card program reveals about the administration's actual priorities around immigration. The Trump administration has simultaneously pursued the most aggressive immigration restriction agenda in modern American history. Mass deportations, dramatic reductions in asylum processing, crackdowns on legal immigration pathways, and rhetoric that has made many foreign nationals deeply uncomfortable about coming to America under any circumstances. And right in the middle of all of that, they launched a program saying wealthy foreigners are welcome. Just bring $5 million. The contradiction is stark. You cannot simultaneously be the administration that is making America feel unwelcoming and hostile to immigrants while also trying to sell the idea that the world's wealthy elite should be lining up to plant their roots here. Those two messages do not coexist comfortably, and the people you are trying to attract are smart enough to notice the contradiction. Immigration attorneys and investment consultants who work with ultra-high net worth clients globally report that the current American political environment is actually a significant deterrent even for the extremely wealthy. Questions about the stability of American institutions, the rule of law, the social climate, and the long-term predictability of policy are weighing on decisions that wealthy families make about where to put down roots. A green card is not just a document. It is a decision about where your children will grow up, where your assets will be held, what legal system will govern your life. Those decisions require confidence in the destination and confidence in America as a stable, welcoming, rule of law country is not at its historic high point among global elites right now. None of this means the gold card is permanently dead. It could be revived with congressional legislation that gives it a proper legal foundation. It could be repriced or restructured to be more competitive in the global market. It could be combined with genuine administrative reforms that reduce the legal uncertainty currently surrounding it. The concept of attracting wealthy investors is not inherently flawed. It is the execution, the legal architecture, and the political context that have made this particular launch such a dramatic underperformance relative to the administration's own projections. What the one approval reality does reveal, clearly and unmistakably, is the gap between political announcement and policy reality, a gap that in immigration, more than almost any other area of government, can have consequences for real people making life-altering decisions based on what leaders promise. The Gold Card was sold as a revolutionary program that would flood America with billions of dollars and attract the world's most successful people. The reality, at least for now, is one approval and a mountain of unanswered legal, structural, and political questions. Whether this program ultimately succeeds or quietly disappears will tell us a great deal about whether the Trump administration is serious about reforming investor immigration or whether the Gold Card was always more about the announcement than the delivery. If this video gave you real insight into what is actually happening behind the headlines, please hit the like button. It helps Global Entry News reach more people around the world who need this information. If you are not yet subscribed, do it right now. We cover the immigration policies, visa programs, and global mobility stories that directly affect your options, your future, and your freedom to move. Share this video with anyone who is following the Gold Card story or thinking about investor immigration to the United States. And drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the Gold Card can be fixed? Do you think it was ever meant to work? We want to hear from you. Stay informed, stay sharp, and we will see you in the next video.